This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 395 of the Stable Scoop Radio Show. Auditor, Deems, and the Old Chatham Hunt Club. Please support our sponsors as they make this show possible.
Our sponsors this week are the Clarion Lexington, Dr. Rose's Remedies, and Uncle Jimmy's Hanging Balls. Auditor Dawn Deems joins us as the Listener of the Week, and our monthly look at fox hunting features Cheryl Rings with the Old Chatham Hounds. Listen in.
Welcome to the Stable Scoop, with weekly shows delivered right to you. With Helena and Glenn the Geek, live from the stable, it's every week. They bring you the news through hail or high water, while using their tails as their own fly swatters. So sit on down and laugh till you poop, cause it's time again for the Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop. The Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop.
This is Glenn the Geek.
And this is Helena B. And you're listening to the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network.
Well, Helena, we're going to get right to business this week. We got a lot to talk about. We got a couple listeners coming up, continuing our year of the listener here and getting to know everybody. It's so much fun. But first, I want to mention, as this show is coming out, I am in Lexington, Kentucky at Road to the Horse. Road to the Horse, along with horselovers.com, is pleased to announce its live coverage of Road to the Horse for all 3 days of the Premier Colt Starting Competition. So Friday, March 18th, we start at 9 a.m. with a 90-minute show. Saturday at 9 a.m. with a 90-minute show. And then from 11 to 3:30 on Sunday with the first live coverage of the final day of the competition. I'll be there with Mary Kitzmiller, two-time competitor of Road to the Horse, and we're going to have all kinds of fun names joining us all during that Sunday show, and you're going to recognize some of those clinician names that'll be joining us to help provide the coverage. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll also be putting out as a podcast under the Horses in the Morning podcast then. So go to horsesinthemorning.com and click on the Listen Live button if you want to join us, or go to horsesinthemorning.com and you can find the recorded versions there on our app or iTunes or anywhere else where you'll find Horses in the Morning. This coverage is brought to you with the support of horselovers.com, Casual Products, A Little Pet Vet, Horseware, and the Clarion Hotel Lexington. Plus, if you're around Friday night, that's this Friday night, the 18th, at 7 p.m., we're going to be at Cortland's Country Kitchen at the Clarion in Lexington for a meetup. So even if you aren't coming to Road to the Horse, you just live in the area of Lexington, Kentucky, come on out. We want to see everybody. So we're going to be 7 p.m. at Cortland's Country Kitchen at the Clarion Lexington. You can just go to ClarionHotelLex.com to get the address, and we want to see all of our friends there. We're going into our fox hunting segment. Tell us who's coming up.
We have a fellow fox hunter. Well, not that I've hunted with her, but she's another fox hunter. Her name's Cheryl. Her name is Cheryl Rings, and she's an artist. She has a business called Equistyle, but she also hunts with the Old Chatham Hunt Club in upstate New York. So we're going to welcome Cheryl to talk to us about what her life is like. Welcome, Cheryl, to the Stable Scoop Radio Show. Of course, this is our monthly fox hunting segment, and I'm always happy to, quote unquote, meet fellow fox hunters. So we're really happy to have you here.
Wow, guys, thank you so much for having me. This is very cool.
So you come from, or you live in an area where I used to spend some time. You're in upstate New York. Is it Orange County or Westchester County?
Columbia County, actually.
Oh, see?
A little bit north of where you were.
Clearly, I don't know anything about upstate New York, but it's a beautiful, beautiful part of the state, which a lot of people don't know about. Everybody either hears of like super upstate New York or Western New York or Niagara or, of course, New York City. But this is really, I think, it's a secret treasure that not a lot of people know about.
Did you grow up there? Farm country.
Did you grow up there?
Yep.
And have you
Yeah,
always
my
been
family's
into?
been on the same farm since 1876.
There you go. You answered my question.
Wow.
Holy cow.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
And are you the only person? I mean, you're on a farm, but there's got to be others in your family who are horsey.
Well, my mom fox hunted with old Chatham before me, and before she fox hunted, she ran barrels and did some gymkhana games. She had Appaloosas. So I grew up with her horses. But strangely, that's the only real horses in either side of my family before me.
Interesting. I love that you sort of inherited this from your mom. That's such a lovely story. I hope that.
Yeah, I still fox hunt in her jacket.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. And do you ride an Appaloosa?
I have an Appaloosa thoroughbred cross, but I'm hunting thoroughbred gelding. And then we also have an off-the-track mare that we mostly trail ride.
You know, the first horse that I ever full leased, who was my responsibility 100%, was an Appaloosa thoroughbred cross. And he had a very unique personality. You could definitely feel both breed characteristics in that. Do you find that you've got that too? No, it depends on the mix. Mine was opinionated, and he had a great sense of self-preservation, but he also had the engine of the thoroughbred, but the brain of the Appaloosa. What's yours like?
My girl, she's a pretty good mix. She's got a beautiful jump on her. She's very brave. She's absolutely cute as pie. But you have to be able to convince her that it's her idea. She's not one to be told what to do. And if you tell her, she will tell you back exactly how she feels about things.
That is, but they have opinions, right? They have opinions.
Oh, yes.
They articulate them so clearly. It's easy to understand where you stand at any given time.
It's okay when they're telling you it's not on two legs. That's much better if they're opinionated on four legs.
She does a stomp. It's really funny. It's particularly at the canter. She wants to, have arguments, and she'll stomp with her front legs. It's like a Gestapo stomp. It's really bizarre.
She just has a hissy fit. Yeah.
So you ride out with old Chatham, and you have been doing so for a long time. What is?
2 years.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, only 2 years. Yep, this will be my third season. I'm very excited.
Why don't I think? Well, maybe because your family's been involved with hunting for a long time. What kind of riding did you do before you started hunting?
I did some hunter jumper, just very low level shows. Mostly a lot of trail riding and just having fun. I never had any fancy horses, so I took the old funny gelding and taught him how to jump over things, and then played around bareback jumping over things. Nothing formal, really, until I got my gelding, who's the one I'm fox hunting. He's awesome. I got him as a yearling, and he's 13 now. So we're just having lots of fun.
Glenn, doesn't this make you want to try hunting?
If you can do it in a carriage. Can you do it in a carriage?
Why not?
The jumps are tricky.
We did have a carriage come out with us on opening day one day. That was pretty fun.
You could hit. I mean, they used to in the old days. There were all kinds of carriages out, and that's how they did the hilltopping in the old days. Doing the jumps is kind of tricky.
Scooter could do it.
Yeah, that's the problem. He'd want to do it.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about fox hunting? What is the one thing that gets in you, and that's why you do it? That's why you love it.
It's an absolute thrill for me. Because I'm new at it, it still prickles the hair up on the back of my neck when I hear the hounds cry for the first time on a hunt, or that really cool morning when all of the horses are steaming while they're, standing at check waiting for something to happen. I get overwhelmed by how beautiful it is, and that's why I had to start painting it.
There's a reason that so many artists take up painting fox hunts, because it truly is beautiful.
It's inspired work.
When you're watching it from a distance, there's just nothing like seeing a fox hunt and hearing the hounds. And I totally get why artists go that route.
Yeah,
and so
it's absolutely beautiful.
Have you always been an artist?
Well, I'm a graphic artist. I always liked art, but of course in school they would steer you towards something they thought you could make money at. So I went to school for graphic design. And I'm actually a webmaster for a small flag company here. The full-time job that pays the bills and keeps the horses fed.
Yes, I know that.
But yeah, I hadn't painted in a lot of years. I just got back to it. And I think joining the hunt club and actually going out hunting really is what inspired me to start painting again.
It does get in you. And you can tell when, regardless of the style, I think, of painting, my daughter is a budding artist, and she sort of explains the different kinds of paints, and I'm like, I know nothing about it, and the mediums that you can use. And I think that no matter what medium you do use, the inspiration of someone who fox hunts and paints, you just fall in love with it. And it's not so much the scenery, like you're doing these stunning sceneries. It's like there's this, you have this ability to get the message across. You're communicating a feeling.
Wow, thank you. Because that's what I'm feeling when I'm painting it. I go right back to that day and that hunt.
And that's when I looked at some of your stuff online, I was like, wow, I get it. She gets it. She feels it. And I can feel it through looking at her artwork. So kudos to you for being able to articulate that message. Much. Yeah. I don't have a lot of hunt artwork. There's a lot of bad horse artwork out there, like
there is.
Anybody with a little bit of talent can sort of put a paintbrush to canvas and start doing horses. But to tell a visual story is completely different.
Oh, wow. I'm very flattered. Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm sure I'm enjoying it. It's the perfect thing to do when the winter rolls around and we can't be out hunting.
Yeah. Winter's a long time up here in the Northeast. It's a very long time.
Now, maybe you asked this and I missed it, but are you a live hunt or a drag?
It's a live hunt.
Okay. And are they hunting fox?
Fox and coyote. I would say we probably chase each of them about equally.
Yeah. And, there's a lot of areas where coyotes are becoming a huge problem. I
don't like to call them a problem. I like to say that
they're becoming a problem.
They're not a problem. Their population is swelling, as it does with all wildlife. Population swells, and then something comes along and controls it, and then the population goes down. Hopefully, what controls it is not cars, but you
don't want to have
unfortunately,
you don't want to have an outdoor cat or a little dog in our neighborhood right now, because many of them have been taken out here recently.
Yeah,
I think they go into areas and they kind of clean out the easy prey, and then they move on, and then they'll come back. You won't hear about them again for a couple of months, and then they'll come back. It's kind of interesting how coyotes are a little different than foxes that way too.
Yeah. Do they give? Now I've never hunted coyote. How different is the chase between the two?
Well, actually, I was asking our masters that because certainly they've hunted longer than I have. I had heard from my mom that when you chase a coyote, they run straight, and it's not like a fox that kind of swarps, around and around in circles.
Right.
And I guess the coyotes in our area have actually learned to circle back. So originally they would run straight, and you would be crossing counties at full out, but not anymore. Now they know the territory, and they know what the hounds are going to do, so they'll take them through the swamp, or they'll cross a road or two, and then they circle back. So you'll see the same one, almost back at the trailers when you're all headed back in. So it's interesting that they've learned to act like a fox almost.
Can I ask a stupid question? So I know hounds are trained to track certain scents, and that's how they can do drag hunts, is they're trained to track a scent that's not a fox, so they don't get off on a real fox. So are they trained, are the hounds trained to do both coyotes and foxes, or is it separate hounds?
It's the same hounds, and they seem to take to it naturally.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if they'll do both.
It's amazing that you can keep them. Yeah, it's amazing that they can keep them from chasing deer and
I was wondering about that.
A neighborhood dog.
Yeah,
but they do.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
They used to. Our huntsman used to throw in all kinds of animals into the kennels with the hounds.
Okay.
They would live with goats, and you'd find all kinds of weird things in there and say, what are you up
Oh,
to
that's
now?
funny.
And, just desensitizing them. These are your friends, not your quarry.
Hmm. Oh, that's funny.
So obviously, like the rest of us, you're looking forward to the spring season, right? You'll be out there
Oh,
with your
yes.
horse. Good.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna keep an eye out for stories and photos of you out hunting.
Okay.
Who knows when I'll ever get back out there again? So I'm gonna live vicariously through you, Cheryl.
Oh, okay. Well, there's an open invitation anytime you want to come up.
Well, thank you very much. You might just see me
I'll
pop
put
in
you on
one
the
day.
Appaloosa cross.
That's fine. I'll bring my helmet.
Okay.
If you where can people find out more about your artwork?
It's called Equistyle. Right now, I've got a Facebook page and an Etsy site, and that's about it.
That's plenty. You've got photos up there. Yeah,
I
we'll
have
put a
the
link
links,
to it.
so we'll put them in our show notes. And I also wanted to mention, if you're in upstate New York, in that area she's talking about, and want to give it a try, it's oldchathamhuntclub.com.
Yes, and I'm also the webmaster for that.
It's a very nice website.
It's a very nice
you.
website.
Yeah, I'm
Yes,
on it now. Yeah.
very nice. A very friendly
We've got our
bunch.
hunt reports and we have so much fun. We eat
And
so well.
Now,
Oh,
you
we have
just
such a
started
good
2
time.
years ago. That's a good thing to point out. You just started 2 years ago. Were they very inviting, and are they looking for new novice members?
Oh, they were wonderful. They do an intro to hunting clinic each year. I think we even did 2 of them last year, where people who are total novices can come out with their horse and introduce them to the hounds and see a little bit of our countryside and learn a little bit of what we do. And everybody has just really been wonderful at the club.
There you go. It's Old Chatham Hunt Club. You can Google that or just go to oldchathamhuntclub.com. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been fun.
Take care.
Dr. Rose's Remedies Skin Treatment Salve and Spray are 100% all-natural products. They are anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal. Dr. Rose's are made with all human-grade ingredients and are safe and effective for treatment for all manner of cuts and scrapes on your horse. And Dr. Rose's is the must-have product here at the Horse Radio Network headquarters to keep PT Scooter's delicate white pasterns free from dew poisoning and scratches. Ask for Dr. Rose's at your local tack store or feed supplier, or visit them online at drrosesremedies.com. That's drrosesremedies.com.
It is the year of the listener. And now, our Stable Scoop listener of the week.
Well, our listener of the week this week is none other than Dawn Deems, who has been a guest several times on the Horses in the Morning show because she's kind of a horse racing expert and follows it intensely. So whenever we have to cover anything horse racing, she comes on and tells us what we should think. And she's kind of our horse racing guru here at the Horse Radio Network, but we've never really talked to her about her. So that's what we're going to do today. Dawn Deems from Ohio.
Well, up now we have an HRN auditor, Ms. Dawn Deems, and she is from Ohio. And it seems to me like Dawn has a really cool job. I want to hear all about it. She's a production coordinator for a magazine publisher. I don't know why I think that's super cool, but it is. Welcome, Dawn, to Stable Scoop.
Thanks, Alina. It's good to talk to you. I don't think we've ever spoken before. So nice to meet you.
Thank you. We're going to be best friends when you're done with this interview. So obviously you're horsey, and I want to get into that, but I find this fascinating because you're a production coordinator for a magazine publisher, and I know that any kind of publishing can be a very intense occupation. There's a lot of deadlines and a lot of moving parts. Tell us a little bit about your regular job.
Sure, and you make it sound so cool. It's actually, not that exciting, but no, it's I work for a great company. It's a family-owned. It's 2 brothers, and they're great entrepreneurs in Cincinnati, and they're into all kinds of things. They have restaurants, and they bought some land and own a dog park. I mean, they're into everything. But they have an ad agency, which is next in the building with us, and then they have the magazines I work on. There's one. It's like a coupon magazine. You probably get some in the mail, and they own. You've probably heard of Valpak, the little blue envelopes. They own a couple franchises of that. And then we publish, it's a home and garden magazine. It's called House Trends. And it's like home improvement ideas and designs. And so I work in print production and mail production. So I deal with mailing lists because we do, send the print magazines out. And I work with the printer directly. So yes, it's a lot of deadlines. Like March is a huge month for us, so we're in the middle of a bunch of deadlines.
I often wondered if those Valpak things actually make money, and I figured they must because they've been sending them out for like 85 years.
Yeah, years and years.
They have, yeah. Yeah, they do really well, and it's funny because everything's going digital now, and with social media and our websites are growing at our company, but everyone wants still the paper magazine, so that's good for my job because that's what I deal with. So
well, it seems like
everyone still wants
the only mail you get anymore is junk mail and bills, right? So
and even your bills can come electronically.
Yeah,
now.
so you get less of those. So I think that actually, in an ironic way, and you can confirm this, in an ironic way, your junk mail stands out more, and you may look at it more because it's the only mail you get now.
That is so true.
Right.
That is so true. The pendulum is shifting the other way because everything has moved online. And I think there's going to be a pushback towards like old school types of marketing. In fact, I was talking about this at Sparkle and Boom the other day. Going back to, people are going to use paper mail, use U.S. mail again because nobody's using it anymore. You're going to get seen or actually go to a store.
Yeah, because they were actually discussing that in the meeting the other day. It's kind of going back that way, too. So, it's going both ways. But the advertisers still want, the paper magazine. So, yeah.
Well,
so,
and the only thing that's a negative to that is it's more expensive. I mean, obviously postage has gone way up.
Yeah.
So, that it becomes a little less profitable or you have to charge more, one or the other. So,
or you can spend a boatload of money on digital advertising and still not get your stuff seen.
End up with the same thing.
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked this question about your job is because the leading question is, how then do horses fit into your busy life? And I'm going to kind of guess that they offer you a certain amount of peace and relaxation. That
she's a stalker. She's
opposite.
A stalker. She's a horse stalker.
9
she's
to 5
a stalker.
job.
Oh, I'm a horse stalker?
Yes, you are. And you'd be arrested if it was people you were stalking.
Tell us about,
She is. I'm not lying. She's a horse stalker.
Well, okay. I'm sure there's a nicer way you could say that.
No, it's really true. Go ahead.
No. We've talked about it before, but
right.
So you want me to talk about my own horse? Or?
Yeah, talk about your horse first.
Okay. So I have one horse. I board, so one's in my budget. So I'd love to have more, but I got her when she was 10. She's a thoroughbred, never raced. I could go into her background. It would be a long story, but I've had her for 18 years. Oh, okay. But when I bought her, I showed dressage. So we went through first level. We dabbled in some second level. But yeah, she's just the smartest horse I've ever met. And we connected immediately before I even knew I wanted to buy her. But she's retired now. She had an injury about 4 years ago. So she's at a nice small barn, like a mile from my house, which is nice. And just living the retired life. And she's as sweet as can be. And she's my once-in-a-lifetime horse. So, but yeah, it definitely, working 40, 50 hours a week. And then, in the evenings I get to go there and relax. And so I'm pretty much there every day, even if for just a few minutes. I like to check on her. I'm kind of OCD that way. But, but yeah, she's lovely. She's a good girl.
So when do you get to ride her, and what do you do? So you don't have a lot of time, right? Like a lot of us, but when you do get into the saddle, what's the first thing that you do?
Well, I can't ride her anymore.
Oh, so she's totally retired. Okay.
Totally. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Totally.
Okay. See, I don't even hear that. When I think retired, I think they're retired from their competitive careers, and now they're into their pleasure careers. So, she's just your snuggle bunny.
Right now, yeah. So I was, she tore her suspensory is what she did, and kind of fractured her sesamoid. So she can't even have a rider on her, which is, sucks, but, at least she's still around, and to see her in the pasture, you wouldn't even know. I mean, she just stands around like, like there's nothing wrong with her. But, no, when I did ride, I, usually 3-4 nights a week, just, you have to make time, and I would go on my way home. And
are you catching rides with anyone?
Yeah, when I can. I've had a couple friends that, are like, hey, I can only ride a few days a week. Why don't you, ride my horse a couple days? And, so I get to ride like once or twice a week.
That helps. That helps.
Which is wonderful. Yeah. And then
that's more than I ride. My horse is 50.
Yeah, you have your horses. There's no excuse for you. You can't even say it's the snow anymore. You can't use that excuse.
I have no excuses.
So now, now I'll tell the secret for those that don't know Dawn. She is a racehorse stalker. And she has had her picture taken with Wise Dan, with American Pharoah, I don't know if you ever got to Zenyatta, but where did the obsession with racing and racehorses come in?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. Yeah, from my mom, really. She has always loved racing. She, when she was a little girl, her uncle lived in Chicago he could walk to one of the racetracks. I forget which one. She would spend like the summers there, and he taught her all about horse racing and how to read the racing form, and
what every kid should learn.
Oh yeah, great, great way to grow up.
Yeah.
So then when I was growing up, and my parents and me and my sister, I grew up in northeastern Ohio, so we would go to the track on the weekends. And I've always loved racing. I don't remember, I just remember even when I was a little girl, going to the track and following it. And my mom always wanted to own a horse. So we actually, they bought some standardbreds back in the early 80s. And they owned them for about 15 years. So we actually were involved in harness racing too. So that was kind of cool. We don't have any anymore, but we had a few race horses, so that was neat.
It's interesting because I think that my love of greyhounds comes from my grandfather, by the way, also would teach us how to read the little programs and when we were little kids. And there was a greyhound track. He always bet on the dogs. And he would spend hours on those programs. I'm not sure he ever bet much, but boy, he followed it. And then when we'd go up there, he'd bring us to the track, and we were little, like 7, 8 years old, so we could watch the doggies run around. And I think that's why I ended up having greyhounds later in life, is because that was such a big part of my time with my grandfather, is him taking us. What good upbringings we had, huh?
Seriously, I was just thinking that too, like everybody's grandparents brought them to the track. Man, that was where you dragged little kids with a cigar in one hand and a Pabst Blue Ribbon in the other.
It could be worse, right? Hey, yeah.
By the way, I think that's all they sell at tracks is Pabst Blue Ribbon. I think that's
I learned a lot. I know more about Belmont than I do about my grandmother's house.
Well, yeah, you grew up. Where you grew up, that was really into horse racing. That area, and Italians especially, they were always at the track.
Yeah, Belmont and Aqueduct back in the day, and then we would go upstate New York to Monticello and watch the trotters go. So, yeah, that's. They're looking at how much cash they're winning, and I'm like, what's those hot? Looking at the gear, the tack, and the harnesses, and
We have an invitation now, Wendy and I, to go to the Meadowlands, and they said they would take us out so we could drive a horse on the track. Yeah, so we have an open invitation to go to the Meadowlands. The director up there said, "You guys come up. We'll make sure you get out." And I've always wanted to do that. Wouldn't that be fun, going like 60 miles an hour?
I think I remember that. I think I remember that interview. Yeah, I got to jog a horse.
Did you?
Just jog. I mean, just the power. I mean, we weren't even going fast. We're just when they're just doing their slow jog, but it felt fast.
But in those sulkies, the feet are right there. That's just the butt and the feet are right there.
They're right there.
Have you ever ridden an X-Racing standardbred? They're fast. I don't care if they just trot. That trot is crazy. It's crazy fast.
I have actually. I've broken a couple of the saddle, and yeah, we had one that she would pace when she got going too fast, and but the canter was hard.
How's the
they didn't know
pace
what
to
do
ride,
quite.
by the way? How is that to ride?
Oh, it's smooth.
Yeah,
I
I
liked
bet.
it.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Once I was like, "What's she doing? What's she doing? What's going on?"
Yeah.
You know. Well, when you go to try them, when this was at the Standardbred Retirement Foundation, when you go to try them, they're at various stages of their retraining. So you kind of don't, and there were 14 horses there that I sat on that day, and everybody was at a different point, so you don't know what you're going to get when you sit in the saddle. But I remember the first thing that I thought was, well, really, how fast can it be? And it was powerful. So when you said that word powerful, you don't think of the trot as a powerful gait until you sit on a standardbred, and it is most definitely a powerful gait.
Yeah, because they're going, when they're racing, they're going at a good clip. I mean, 30, I don't know, 30 miles an hour, something like that.
It's 35, I think, 35 miles an hour, which,
It's
Just imagine riding your bike at 35 miles an hour, and that's about what you got, right? That's really scary.
Which I think
fast.
I've done accidentally from time to time. But so, Dawn, your family had standardbreds for, would you say, like 15 years?
about 15 years. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Did you breed them?
We did. We had two stallions. We claimed them, and they raced for a while, and they were still stallions. One was 10 when we claimed him. He was still racing. I mean, they raced forever. And then they were on a small breeding farm. I mean, nothing, not a huge crop of mares or anything like that, but just a sweet breed. I'd love to own one someday. They're just so sweet and just, I don't know, just so versatile, like we're talking about riding them and everything. So we had, I don't know how many.
Now I want to go get a standardbred again.
Yeah, you were stuck on that for a long time.
I want to try again.
Oh.
Well, so now you've gotten to meet some famous racehorses. What's the one story that sticks in your mind above all others? Was it Wise Dan?
Yeah, I mean, it is. I could go on. Me and Jamie. Oh my gosh, we have this infatuation with Wise Dan. I got to meet him twice, but the first time it was last April, and he was at Keeneland. He was just coming back from his injury. He had just gotten back to the track, and so I told my husband, we're gonna go to the barns and and meet this horse, and he's like, okay, but we walked in the barn, and I said, and so a groom came out and said, can I help you? And I'm like, oh, can we meet Wise Dan? And they're like, oh, that's all over there. And they didn't even accompany us. They're just
Really?
Yeah, over there. Oh yeah. My husband was shocked. He's like, how much money is this horse paid? I'm like, $8 million. He's like, there's no security guards or anything, and they just. The groom did come over at one point. I think she's the assistant trainer, but she came over at one point, answered some questions, but they weren't hovering over it. And we got to, I don't know how long we spent. I mean, a good, half hour, 45 minutes, just loving on them and taking pictures and it was just this, you go on these farm tours and they're supervised and you just, can't, go up to American Pharoah and kiss them, but they just let us visit with them and that's so special, and he's just a fun horse, and he's posing for the camera, and he knows when we were taking his picture, and he reached out and gave me a kiss. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna pass out. This is so cool because he's just the coolest, most charismatic horse. So what a great day it was.
I don't think you're going to beat that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. So now tell us, and we'll get to your rapid fire questions. How did you find Horse Radio Network and start listening?
Oh yeah, I think it was the end of 2010. When did you? It was I'd gone to the Breeders' Cup at Churchill.
Okay.
I'd gotten to go to Zenyatta's last race. And actually, it's kind of funny. The morning after the races, a bunch of fans congregated around her barn. Her barn was on one of the main streets there behind the track. I can't remember the name of it, but and they brought her out, and everyone's taking pictures. Well, a couple other women and myself, we exchanged email addresses and like, okay, we'll send each other photos. And I became friends with one on Facebook, and she shared your page. And then I think I just started listening at that point. And so yeah, over 5 years, yeah.
And
so I started listening.
How do you listen? On your phone, iTunes, our app?
I listen live on my computer at work with my headphones, and so it's a nice way. If not, I'll catch it and the replay in the afternoon. But yeah, it's a kind of a quiet office environment. We're all in cubicles, so I just put my headphones on, listen to you guys, and it's a nice way to spend the morning.
Well, cool. Very good. Well, we appreciate that. Thank you so much. And one other question about auditors. What do you like the most about being an auditor?
Just the people you get to meet, and I've made some great friends, through Horses in the Morning that, talk on Facebook all the time, and but just the auditor group page. I mean, it's just a great group of positive, supportive people. If someone, you can post anything. Everyone has different interests and levels of experience, and it's just a positive, supportive group of people. There's nothing ever negative on that page. So, and we just all have a great time, I think. So.
I was expecting when the page started to have to boot people because we said we weren't going to allow anything negative, and I've never had to. I've never had to take a post down.
Yeah. Any other group, I'm in quite a few groups, and there's always, there's some people that, yeah, exactly, you have to give the boot, but nothing like that. Everyone's just very supportive and positive.
That's because we have the best listeners in the world, right, Helena?
We do.
That's right.
Yep, we do. We love them. It's true. You can count on our listeners too. Like you ask a question or you have some feedback. They're always right there. You put something out there in the auditor room and boom, 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 boom. 12, 13, 15, 20 people are right in there, answering your questions.
Yep.
No matter what time of day or night, there's always somebody up.
If you want to become an auditor, it's as little as $1 a month. Just go to stablescoop.com. There's a banner in the middle of the page, and you can do that very easily. Well, thank you for that. We appreciate it, and we thank you for listening for all these years. And now it is time for your rapid-fire questions. Helena.
All right, here we go. I'll be kind, Dawn. I'll be kind. Well, look, the questions are the same. So, what is your favorite food?
This is a weird one, but I'm Italian. I grew up eating Italian food, so eggplant parmesan is absolutely my favorite meal.
Yum! You're Italian! Yay!
You're not the only one, Helena.
I know. Sometimes I feel like it, though.
Dawn, do you talk with your hands?
Yes. I do.
My God.
I do.
If you guys could see me right now, I'm like squirming around in my chair.
When we first started recording shows, she would hit the microphone all the time. She'd be like, and I'd be like, stop that. Stop hitting the microphone.
And I would say, I'm not hitting. Or he'd say, you're thumping.
Oh, she'd thump like this on the desk the whole time, and she wouldn't even know she was doing it. She's so Italian.
He would, and we would argue. He'd be like,
I'd go, you are thumping. She'd go, I'm not thumping. And then we'd have this argument off the air about her thumping.
But yet you clearly hear the playback and there's thumping.
There's thumping.
Okay, sorry.
So funny.
I'm French. We don't talk with our hands.
No.
We barely talk. So.
All right. So, what's your least favorite food?
I'm not real picky, but beets, I just cannot even.
Beets?
I think they're just gross. Yeah.
I'm with you.
They come and go. They have to be really salty, really, really salty for me. Okay. What is your biggest equestrian pet peeve?
I thought of a couple for this one. I guess people using your stuff and not returning it or breaking it and not like setting up like that's happened to a pitchfork and stuff like that. But just using say I don't mind if you borrow it, but put it
especially
back,
at a boarding barn like you're in. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite professional or celebrity equestrian?
That was hard too. There's just so many I thought of. But when I was, riding dressage, seriously and competitively, Jane Savoy was one that I always read her articles and her books. I really liked her method. So
Jane is she's in a battle with cancer right now, and I'm not giving away the store. She's been posting on Facebook all about it, but hopefully she's winning that battle, and we wish her the best.
Oh, boy.
Absolutely.
What career, other than one with horses and the one you have now, might you like to try?
I've always wanted to be a chef. I love to cook.
Oh, that's our first
that would
chef.
Be something cool to try.
That's also the first horse girl I've ever met that likes to cook. So there we go.
I know one other, but just one other. Now, would you cook Italian all the time, or would you venture into other cuisines?
Oh, I cook everything. Home cooking, just what I'm always looking for recipes, trying new recipes.
Road trip, Ohio, here we come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No beets, though.
No beets, no.
If you won $1 million and you had to use it to go on vacation, where would you go?
I would. I've never been to Europe. I would love to go to Italy. Just see where my ancestors were from, and my great grandparents came over from Italy. So,
do you know what part of Italy they came from? Do you know where?
Not off the top of my head. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine all came from the wrong side of town. It's like the one city in Italy where everybody, all the crooks go. That's where my family came from.
Were they from Sicily or Italy?
No. Ooh, I like the way you put that. Sorry to all my Sicilian friends out there, but no, they're from Naples. Both sides, both my dad's side of the family and my mom's side of the family were both from Naples, and they all came over on the boat at the same time, pretty much.
And the police boat was in hot pursuit.
Don't laugh.
No, I wasn't actually.
No joke. Describe yourselves, Dawn, with just 3 words.
Hey, that wasn't on the list. Oh, man.
Surprise.
3 words. Independent. Organized. I tend to be very organized. And
stalker.
Oh, gosh. Hardworking.
Independent, organized, and hardworking. That's awesome. Independent, organized, and hardworking.
With a minor in stalking.
Would you like to move in with me?
Yeah, we need one of those around here.
Sure. Are you married?
Organized. We really need the organized part.
What is the most terrifying thing you've ever done, and would you do it again?
Well, I am very afraid of heights. I have a phobia of bridges.
Yay!
And I had... Yeah. Oh, you do?
I'm not the only one. Yes.
Oh, gosh. So not the company I work for now, but the company I worked for before this. So it's probably 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. I went on this. They sent a bunch of us on this team building. It was in Chicago, actually, outside of Chicago, but it was like a week of classes and things. But they had outdoor activities, and we went on this high ropes course, and you're you have a harness on and everything, but I at 25 to 50 feet, and you're up in the trees, and there's catwalks and tiny zip line. You're swinging from ropes, and there's this whole obstacle course up there, and it's all you're doing it with your teammates. And I did it, but I.
Sounds like she wouldn't do it again.
Yeah. You pretty much answered the second part of that question. I don't blame you.
I psyched myself out and got nervous. But afterwards, it's I conquered my fears, So I don't know. I might.
Well, if you come down for the listener meetup in Ocala next year, we're going to be going to a zip lining place, and they have trailback riding or zip lining. So maybe we have to get you to. Now, don't worry about the fact that you're 200 feet up and the longest zip line is 650 feet. Don't worry about that. I think she'll be trail riding.
I think I just started to sweat a little bit just hearing you like.
I know.
describe that.
My heart's beating fast.
Okay. If you
Superhero.
could have, yeah, I know I'm reading the show notes. If you could have just one superhero power, what would it be?
Oh gosh. Probably time travel. I don't know. Go back in time. Go to different time periods. I don't know.
What time
That
period would you go
was a
to?
hard one. Oh, all different ones.
Ooh, right. Well, if it's your superpower, you could just pick a. But where would you go first? What time period?
I don't know.
Dawn, the American Doctor Who.
Doctor.
Maybe like the 50s and 60s. I don't know, really.
All right. Well, I'm going to go back when I get my time travel superhero powers. I'm going to go back to like the 1800s when the American West was being blazed and settled. And you can come on my covered wagon. What do they call it, Glenn? A caravan?
Yes, your wagon train.
My wagon train.
Oh,
So-
yeah. Cool.
You know
Yeah.
there weren't any bathrooms, right?
I use a stall or
You
a
know
trailer.
there wasn't any
Okay.
showers, right? Just
There's
checking.
lakes and ponds. There's lakes and ponds and rivers.
That's right.
That's fine. I'm going to wash that man right out of my hair. Okay, totally different genre, island, whatever. Still, I kind of feel like I want to wash you out of my hair right now. I'm going to thump some more. Okay.
One more, last one.
And I can read.
Oh.
If your horse could speak, what single question would you ask her?
I would ask her, because she's done hunter before I bought her. She did hunter, she did eventer, she did dressage with me. She loved to trail ride. I mean, she was really a good all around horse. I would probably ask her what she enjoyed the most, what made her the happiest. I guess. I don't know. Does that make sense? Kind of corny, but that's what I would ask her.
I don't think it's corny at all. I think it's awesome to want to know what makes her happy. It gets me a little choked up, actually. All right, that's it. I was able to read through and successfully ask you all the rapid fire questions.
Thank you, Dawn. We appreciate you stopping by, and
Oh.
thank you so much for being a listener and an auditor.
My pleasure. No, really, you guys are like family. So really enjoy
Aw,
it.
thank you, and have a lovely weekend.
Same to you guys.
Hello, folks. Uncle Jimmy here, and welcome to the world of Uncle Jimmy brand products, where funny names mean serious products. Featuring Uncle Jimmy's Squeezy Buns, the squeezably soft hand treat that your horse will love. The award-winning Uncle Jimmy's Hangin' Balls. Uncle Jimmy's Sugar-Free Ball. The incredible Licky Thing, also in sugar-free. The amazing Uncle Jimmy's Pecker-Wrecker. And the Big Licky. The infamous Uncle Jimmy Hangin' Ball was first designed by me for my own horses to help reduce the bad habits which come from stall boredom. It now can be found around the world. This nutritious, flavored, filled boredom buster will help keep your horses occupied and happy around the clock. Properly hung, it will last for weeks, provided you don't let your horse pin it, and Uncle Jimmy knows who you are. The ball comes in 4 flavors: apple, carrot, peppermint, molasses, and now sugar-free. Once again, welcome to the world of Uncle Jimmy's brand products, where funny names mean serious products, and satisfaction is 100% guaranteed.
As I say this every week, I love getting to know our listeners. I really do feel like our family is growing one listener at a time. Thank you, everybody, for following along this week. For details about today's show, go to stablescoop.com. And did you know that you can get the HRN app on your iOS or Android phone? Just search for Horse Radio Network in the App Store. It's free and very easy to use. Be sure to log on next Friday for another episode of Stable Scoop. Glenn and I will be here, and who knows what we'll get up to. We always love your feedback, so please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or actually the best of it all is to become an HRN auditor. It's super cheap, and really it's a super secret squirrel group. You won't regret it. Many thanks to this week's sponsors. Glenn, repeat our sponsors for me.
All right, our sponsors this week, we have a few of them. Of course, Uncle Jimmy's Hanging Balls, Dr. Rose's Remedies, and the Clarion Lexington.
Be sure to visit all the great shows on the Horse Radio Network. You can find them at horseradionetwork.com. Whew, we're done.
That's it, Helena. I'm out of here.
There'll be more next week. Until then, happy scooping.